I am in my favourite place in London, Canary Wharf, worked here for many years, and today I'm going to be asking people how the cost of living is impacting them. We know that energy prices are going to be at £4,200 a year come January, but what's the reality on the ground? That's what I want to find out, so I'm going to be asking people questions today. How are you finding things at the moment?
It is tough. The inflation is ridiculous. Moving jobs was the only way to be able to cope with the inflation.
So you've had to literally change jobs to get a pay rise in order to compensate for the cost of living and inflation rates?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Is there anything else that you're struggling with at the moment, or anything else that you would have done if you hadn't been able to, switch jobs? Because I think a lot of people may not be in a position where they can do that.
That's very true. I started with reducing the cost of living at the extra, and this is going to sound first world problems, reducing not going on holiday, reducing activities, reducing things I enjoy in order to cope. Then there was a bottom line where I had enough and made a decision to change a job. And I put all my efforts into that and worked hard to get it.
How is the cost of living crisis impacting you?
Yeah, massively. Not just me, my whole family. I've got elderly relatives in the north of England, in Liverpool, where they're stressed out to death because of it. They can't afford to pay their gas bill. We have massive hunger problems in Liverpool that this government don't know nothing about. They either do know about it, but they just don't care. In this year, 2022, people are still using food banks in this country. It's a disgrace.
So do you feel as though the government is kind of out of touch with the reality of what we're facing at the moment? I mean, yesterday they were saying that they had a meeting with energy bosses who are making obviously quite a lot of profit, and Boris was of the opinion that it's for the next person who comes into office to deal with it. What do you say to that?
Yeah, well, it's typical of Boris Johnson. He's passing the buck again. Right? He protects himself and whoever's around him. So he does that all the time. Even before he was Prime Minister, he's done that his whole career. So basically, he's a coward. He hasn't got the front to actually come out and take ownership of the mess that he's put this country in. It's a disgrace. He should never have been Prime Minister. Gladly we're getting rid of him now, but it'll just be another crony that'll come in, another Tory crony. We need total change in this country. Yeah. It needs a total overhaul because it's not working. The Tory government, they've lost all scope of reality. They have not got a clue what's going on in the north. Well, they probably do, but they don't care, and that's the problem.
So there is a movement going on at the moment called Don't Pay UK, and they're calling on people to cancel direct debits on October the 1st. Do you think that is something that... What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's a great idea. I think the only way that we can challenge this mess, this government, is by basically unity. We need to create a massive union throughout the whole of the country, and we need to do things like this. Don't pay your bill. Great. What are they going to do? Send a few threatening letters? Fine. Deal with that.
How are you finding things with the cost of living crisis?
Very difficult, especially your house rents, your energy bills, all these things, everything is gone up. Yeah. And we are on low income, as we say. Yeah.
Have you already seen a material impact on your own financial situation with the energy prices already having gone up?
Oh yes, I've seen that, yeah.
So they are saying that energy prices are going to be at 4,200 in January.
I don't know how we'll survive.
What are the options? What are you thinking? I mean, what's going through your mind at the moment?
What can I do? Nothing. I don't have no power to do anything. Whatever they say, but I don't think we'll be able to pay that money.
So here's a question for you. There is a movement called Don't Pay UK, and what they're trying to get people to do is cancel their direct debits to the energy companies on October 1st as a stand of defiance. Is that something that you would consider?
I have no option because I can't get that money to pay. Yeah. So obviously I'll just go with them, go with the flow.
I think a lot of people are in the same position as you. unfortunately, and I think maybe we do need some help from the government. Do you expect that the government will step in at some point?
Well, so they say. They have promised that they will help, but we don't know how. Yeah. It's not just one-off help, you understand, because the same problem will come back again. Yeah.
How are you finding things?
Well, I've just started a new business that is doing very well. So it's probably not fair, but I've got a lot of friends who are, on fixed incomes, and it's really tough. It's scary. I think, finding 500 a month or 450 a month is, incredibly scary, especially if you're on a state pension plus a small private one. I'm very lucky. I'm old, but I'm still working, so that's a good thing.
And what do you do?
I'm kind of semi-retired architect, and I do property consulting, business development consulting across kind of all facets of property. Okay. Yeah, it's really fun.
So you got a bit of an accent. So
Yeah.
where's that from?
Los Angeles, well, actually Pasadena, California.
All right. Nice part of the world, that. Really a nice part of the world.
It's sunnier than normally here.
Absolutely. So obviously the States had an issue with inflation. That seems to be coming down now.
Yeah.
I guess the States is in a different position. They don't have the energy price increases here.
Well, it's not great. Yeah, it's very similar situation. Probably not quite as bad, but I think general inflation is probably way worse there. Yeah. I think it's no matter what the politicians say, it's very bad. Because one of the problems is that petrol has gone in the States from $2 to $5 a gallon, dollars, and that's here it's gone, I don't know, 20-30% more. Yeah. There it's doubled plus, and it's really bad. Yeah.
So back into the
just Americans. So
yeah, so back to the UK then. Do you think that the government needs to intervene, particularly when you start hearing about profits from Shell, BP, Centrica?
Yeah, I think there needs to be some equalization. I'm not real big on government controlling profits, but this is a real spike, and I think actually the corporations should step up and do something themselves, show some leadership, rather than waiting for the politicians to kick them in the butt. That'd be my preference, but we'll see.
Yeah, they had a meeting yesterday, and nothing came out of that at the moment. So
Boris showed up. He said nothing.
Well, interestingly, the boss of Shell and BP apparently didn't show up either. So
I didn't know that. Wow, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I guess what he's saying is that it's going to be the job of either Rishi Sunak or Liz Truss if they get in. But I think people need help now, and whether or not that's going to be something that they're going to move on quickly, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I must admit, I heard Gordon Brown about a week ago talk very sensibly, which is very unusual. Yeah. And he said the government needs to step in and help fixed income people and very low income people. It's terrible.
All right, so we're in Tottenham Court Road now. We've just come from Canary Wharf, and as you would imagine in Canary Wharf, it is the financial centre of the UK, so you could argue that people who work there, who live there, may not be impacted as maybe ordinary people are, right? And that's a fair argument, although we did capture a little bit of a diverse group. We're in Tottenham Court Road now, though, so this will allow us to speak to, I guess, a wider range of people. So let's go find someone to ask some questions to. Excuse me, have you got 2 minutes?
We're kind of late for lunch, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me. We've got 2 minutes. We're asking about cost of living crisis. No? Cost of living crisis, how it's impacting them. 2 minutes. We've got raging inflation. How's the cost of living crisis impacting you at the moment?
Well, it's impacting me big times because I'm a single person, so I'm not sharing my bills with someone else. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's I don't know how many percentage it's gone up by now. I can't even keep count of it, but it's impacting me massively. So you have to give up other things just to to make up that increase. So yeah, in terms of going out, even socializing, you have to reduce all of that because of the energy rise. So yeah.
So do you think the government is going to step in? Do you think they should step in to help people more?
Definitely, 100%. People, there's other people as well that I think they are in a worse position than me. Yeah. So if there's people in a worse position than me, so the government definitely needs to do something.
How are you finding the cost of living crisis at the moment, and how is it impacting you?
Well, it's impacting everything, all aspects of my life. Travel, petrol, fuel, heating. You have to cut back on be more selective in what you're doing, and you have to manage your budget more, and you know, just a lot more of your disposable incomes going out to actually for heating and to actually just get by, just to live. So it's a disgrace that BP can earn 7 billion in 3 months, and the people who are choosing whether to eat or whether to put fuel
In their cars.
or eat, or
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's disgusting.
Do you think that the government should intervene, particularly when it comes to the energy prices and the profits that they are making?
Yes,
What shape do you think that could take?
I think they should cut the tax on it. I think they should actually. I mean, I read somewhere that the cost of a barrel hasn't really risen much. So why are we paying so much more at the pumps, and how much is heating oil, and how is electric? How is all these things going up? I think they're using the war as a. They have to get their money back for COVID some way. So I think this is one of the ways that they're crawling back all the billions that they've spent.
I mean, they said they had a meeting with Boris yesterday where they hold in all the energy bosses. Apparently, the boss of Shell and BP, they didn't turn up. But
I
Boris,
wonder why.
well, interestingly, Boris is saying, well, it's not my job to intervene now. It's down to Rishi or down to Liz to intervene and come up with some way of helping people. Do you think they're going to move quick enough?
No.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Because I think, they've spent so many billions of pounds through COVID, and they have to. I think this is like another stealth that they're using the war as a cover to get the money back. And this is through a thing that people need every day. You need heating, you need fuel, you need to travel, get about, get to work. You want to have a hot meal on the table. And this is causing a lot of families that they have to choose. Which is for families who are, just on the line and getting by. It shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. I think for them to allow a company like BP and other fuel companies to earn profits of that amount in a space of time, it's absolutely disgusting. It just shouldn't be allowed to happen.
In the UK, we have soaring energy prices. I think you may have similar issues with fuel prices in the States. We're just asking people today what their opinion is on everything that's happening with high inflation, so on and so forth. Has it impacted you guys personally?
I think yes and no. I think it depends on sort of socioeconomically where you were standing pre the pandemic and then all of the sort of unintended economic effects. But I think with the fuel prices in the United States, for sure, if you commute a lot for work, we both work almost virtually the entire time, so we've been a little more insulated. But with travel, like flights and things like that, you can definitely tell that there is a significant impact there.
Awesome. Would you say that's the same for you, really?
Same. I work for a natural gas company, so in the U.S., but we receive our energy from the Gulf, and obviously the war in Ukraine has impacted a lot of things. So that's definitely impacting everybody because of rising oil prices and definitely like natural petroleum prices. So it definitely impacts us a lot.
So in the UK, the numbers around how much energy prices have increased here in October, so we've already seen one lot of increases in April, which was around about the 70% mark. We're going to see another increase in October at 78%.
Wow.
So have you had those kind of level of increases in the States when it comes to your energy prices?
I don't know if it's been that drastic. Definitely not for like heating. Maybe for driving, it's been a shock. So like we had $5 a gallon gas, and it started to come down. Again, I work for a natural gas company, so like we've been like relatively stable for the time being. But there's definitely an increase in trying to do production more in the U.S. and either trucking LNG over or creating it here, creating it there, and then like harvesting it so you can use it in the winter time, because when it hits the winter, it's going to be really, really bad. So
Yes, I would say I think for us in the United States, because it's gotten progressively warmer as the fuel prices have gone up, we haven't fully felt the effect. I think in the winter months is when we'll really feel when you need the heat, yeah.
So as you work for a natural gas company, do you get a staff discount on your energy cost, or?
Because we're a monopoly, we do not get a discount. So everything that we get, we basically have to. My CEO pays like the entire rate. So we don't get any
No special treatment.
no special treatments.
Okay, so we've been asking people about how they're feeling and how the cost of living is impacting them right now. And it's been interesting to hear the different experiences and opinions depending on where people are coming from. And Don't Pay UK is obviously a big trending topic right now. Will they get 1 million people to cancel direct debits? I've already done a video on the channel talking about a few things that you need to know before you go ahead and do that. But I'm interested to know what your comments are. Should the government be doing more? What do they actually do? Liz Truss or Rishi might be the next person in number 10. What interventions are required? One thing is for sure, it's going to be very, very difficult for a lot of people. I mean, £4,200 for energy bills, in January is going to be unsustainable. And one of the people that we've spoken to today simply just said, I don't have the money. So what are your views? What do you think should happen? Are big business going to continue to get away with the profit that they're making? I think as the situation progresses, we're likely going to see more profits like this. What does the government do?